So welcome back to the Gear Shift chat, and today we're talking about the GR Yaris, which was just on the channel.
Yes. So what did you think about the car?
Honestly, it's a really, really cool car. It's really, really small, actually. I never
Yep.
really realized how tiny they were. But I really like the stickers and the livery, and it had a really good story
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah,
So,
I liked it,
What
yeah.
did you think?
I love the modifications he had done to it. I liked like the small things. Like we didn't mention in the video, but he added like a red grille to the front. I quite like that.
Yes, true.
He also added some air vents in the back.
Okay.
There was some red air vents that were quite nice, and like you say, all the stickers, and then
Yeah.
the engine modifications that he'd done. He had put the horsepower up to about 300 horse.
Jesus,
Sta-
loads.
yeah, standard.
Loads.
Standard, they're about 258. About 250, something like that.
Okay.
No,
well,
251. 251.
251. Well, that's a good bit of power for a very, very light car.
Yeah.
So, but did you see on the side of the car, there's like a sticker that ran along the length of the car? That's actually from the Australian GR Yaris's.
Oh,
And
really?
he actually had that. He has friends or family, I think, it is in Australia.
Yep.
And he had it shipped from there to here.
Really?
So you'll only get that on that car, in the UK at least, unless you're gonna go get one in Australia and get it stuck on. But I really like the color of the alloys. That was kind of like my favorite part of it.
They were very good. Yeah, nicely done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very very unique.
Mhm.
I've not seen another GR Yaris with that kind of like goldy alloy color, which is kind of cool.
I like that addition. I'll be honest as well.
Yeah, it was good. Okay, so how on earth did we manage to get this specific GR Yaris with all its modifications and its livery on the channel?
Well, we got that through GL Reflections, and Jeff, who is the owner of it, there will be one of his cars coming up soon. So, yeah, it's owned not by Jeff, but by Jim Burns.
Yeah, so Jeff organized that we'd be able to get the car on the channel, and actually was quite a cool thing to be able to do. You know, we did Jeff's car, which is a really really cool 400 horsepower car, but that's going to be coming up a bit later on in the future. For now, we have just moved this video a little bit further ahead than the other ones. We obviously, what we did was we had loads of videos pre-filmed, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we had them all scheduled. But because this is obviously from the Sligo Rally, and there's a really, really good story behind it, and it's pretty relevant, we're actually going to shift this video forward ahead of the other ones. So that's just the only one we're going to do this way. But it'd be really, really good to get it on, and it was really nice of him to allow us to actually film the car. But we actually gave Connor gave Jeff and Jim cameras.
Yes, I did. So I showed them how to use them, suction cupped it into the car, and then they drove all the way to, it was Donegal, I'm pretty sure, and back, and had a great time, and yeah, so they just filmed themselves driving along, and then obviously I used that in the shots of the video.
Yes, this is actually this is actually the first car we haven't been able to
Sit in passenger
sit
with.
in as a passenger, but
Yep.
we've actually got footage of someone else in there.
Yeah.
But what did you think? What did you think of watching the video of the car driving? Because obviously we've heard it, we've seen it driving in person, but what do you think of actually seeing the car driving around on camera?
Well, there was a lot of shots to go through, and obviously I hadn't actually been there, so I didn't know what points to skip to, so I had to watch all 3 hours of it.
Was that what it was? 3 hours of footage?
Something like that, yeah.
That's crazy.
Took me a while. Made it through, but it was actually quite interesting. Yeah, I there were some bits where he really hammered it, and he did a couple of handbrake turns.
Did he?
He did, yes.
No way.
Now that they were around quite sharp bends, so yeah. He's pretty good, and he's actually quite an old fella, and for the age of him, he's a really good driver. I'll give him that.
Fair enough. Because what's it called? I think the GR Yaris, that's got 4-wheel drive, am I correct?
It does, yes.
Yeah. So it's 4-wheel drive, about 300 brake.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very light car as well.
Amazing.
So that's got like a little pocket rocket. But it's got quite wide tires and it's got quite a wide stance if you really look at it. But I honestly quite like them. I was honestly very surprised that it was also a 3-cylinder. You would expect it to be at least a 4-cylinder.
I know. Now, speaking of that, I actually heard recently someone was able to extract 750 horsepower from stock internals from the GR Yaris.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they must have put the boost up
Yeah,
all the way.
you probably need a larger intercooler, probably a bigger turbo,
They
different injectors.
they didn't change a single thing. It's
Seriously?
all stock internals.
Yeah, but your turbo is not classified as internals.
Okay.
Your internals will be your pistons, conrods, crankshaft, those things.
Oh, right, yeah.
So stock internals means that there. It means they didn't lift the engine head off like in the Corsa.
Yeah.
So what they did was, you'll probably find usually what it is, like if you're going to take a Golf R from 300 to 600, you need bigger injectors, bigger turbo, bigger intercooler, obviously a remap, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the bare minimum you need, possibly an exhaust.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a decent bit of work that still goes into it, but it's very impressive that it can hold that much power out of a 3-cylinder with stock internals, yeah.
Can you imagine that? 750 horsepower in a tiny wee car like that.
It's crazy. Crazy, like I think that's actually... You must be in rather close to nearly old Formula 1 car.
Oh my god,
horsepower, power to weight ratios.
Unbelievable.
But actually, honestly, thinking about it, that car's 1,300 kilos, I think it is.
You're probably right. We'll put on screen how much it weighs.
Which is surprising because my Corsa is 1,300 kilos, right? That car's got a carbon fiber roof.
Mm-hmm.
My Corsa has a steel roof.
Yep.
The Corsa is slightly bigger.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's longer. Maybe not as wide.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird thinking about it that way. Like my Corsa that was like, yes, it's somewhat light, but it's not that crazy light.
And keep in mind, it's got a 4-wheel drive system in it.
That's where the weight comes from.
Yeah.
The 4-wheel drive. I think it's a... Is it a...
It's a constant...
Yes, it's not a Haldex.
It's not a Haldex. It's a constant 50-50 all the time.
So that's where the weight comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
Transfer case, all that.
Yeah. Amazing. My dad would actually love to get one. He has been considering to get one, but he's not sure. He does like them a lot.
I mean, you couldn't go wrong with one, even if you compare them between the GTIR, the Pulsar.
Mm-hmm.
I would still probably go with the Pulsar.
They're about the same horsepower, and they're about the same weight. Now,
Pulsar.
my dad, my dad says that if you go for a Pulsar, you're just cooler. You're driving in an old Japanese hot hatch.
Yeah.
But then if you're in a Toyota GR Yaris, my dad says, "Oh, look, rich boy."
I mean, like if I would personally get the car, it's going to be closer to the 40-year what's it called MOT and tax age limit.
Yeah, well, once you reach, it's 40 years after that, you don't have to pay. Yeah.
In the UK, when you reach a car, when the car gets 40-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
you no longer have to tax or MOT it.
Mm-hmm.
So it basically becomes tax and MOT exempt. So personally, I would like to get a car as old as possible.
Yep.
So and no longer have to tax it and MOT it.
Exactly,
it's cheaper and it's classic car insurance if you have two cars.
And I like the Pulsar, and it's more rare. Yeah. It's rarer.
Yeah.
Well, now it's becoming rarer because people are ruining them.
It's reached maximum depreciation and starting to rise.
It actually is rising quite a bit, yeah. My dad actually bought his at maximum depreciation, or close to it.
Yeah.
I think he said he bought it for $5,000. Now they're
$5,000 back in the day was expensive.
True.
You can get them now for about $15,000. So I would say
honestly, a bit more maybe.
Well, I saw one about $15,000 a couple months back.
I did, but a lot of those. Now my dad, he bought his basically stock and per mint. Now yes, probably had quite a bit of miles on it, and then he bought and now a really, really good one with about the same mileage is about 20.
Yeah, well, even
Just
like
depends.
if you look at it, like what you could buy. How long ago was it? Like 25 years ago, your dad had one. 20 years.
No, about 25.
About 25 years ago,
Yeah.
£5,000 bought you a lot more than £5,000 today does.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, they probably still are relatively near the maximum depreciation. They are starting to rise, definitely.
Yeah.
But like now would have been a couple months back, couple of years back would have been the perfect time to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never too late to get your foot in the door.
Exactly. Anyway, let's get back to the GR Yaris video.
Yeah.
So how did the day of filming go?
Well, I mean, it was quite interesting because I was working.
Yep.
And then I was like, Jeff rang and was like, "We got the car here. Do you want to come film it?" So I was like, "Yes, I shall arrange with Connor." So managed to arrange with you.
Mm-hmm.
I was busy working. I had to run. Actually, I wasn't working. I was working. I was doing something. I was working.
Oh, yeah.
I was working. But at the same time, I was trying to help my sister as well. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so managed to go get you, drop you off there. Had to go run around, go help my sister a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Then ended up coming back at the niece, and she was enjoying looking at the car, and she wants to play, so she was really making a bit of noise. But it was all good, and it was good to have a bit of like a different kind of scene, because we filmed it there with Jeff, Alan, obviously Yumi,
and Jim, the owner
Jim
of
as
the
well,
car.
yeah,
The owner of the car, yeah.
So big enough crowd when filming.
Surprisingly, usually the only crowd is you, and that's it.
Yeah.
For most of the videos, at least.
Yeah, it's just the 2 or 3 of us,
Yeah.
You and me, and then the owner of the car.
Yeah, which makes it quite nice,
Yeah.
But yeah, what else? What else can we say? Oh, the front bonnet. Yes, the story about.
He's also got something else that you forgot to mention.
Oh, have I?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll mention this first, okay?
Okay.
So on the bonnet there is what's his name? It's RJ. Oh, I can't remember.
So basically, the story behind the bonnet is Jim previously used to race with a fella back in the day, and his number was number 16.
That was it, yes.
And I think this was the 60th anniversary of when he was racing down in Sligo.
Yep.
So I can't remember the fella's name, but Con will put up here on the screen. And it was just like a memorial run for his friend back in the day who used to race them.
Yeah. And yeah, they had his name on the bumper. They had his name on the bumper. It had a picture of him in his little Mini that I raced with. And it actually did look quite nice. I quite liked it. It added to all the decals and other things they had added to it.
It really did. And if you're interested in reading the story, be down in the description.
Absolutely.
But
yes, so you were saying.
What we forgot to mention was he's actually added a light bar as well in the grill. Did you see that?
Oh yes, I forgot to mention that.
That's pretty awesome.
Now that wasn't in the video, but he did add that.
Big light bar in the grill.
Yeah.
It actually looks like it's standard. But,
it does.
You don't realize it's there until you like.
I'll be honest. I didn't add it because I didn't have any B-roll shots of it.
Oh, really?
I forgot to do it.
Oh gosh.
So yeah.
But no, it was good to obviously have the car on the channel. It was good for Jeff to arrange it, and obviously for Jim to let us film it.
Absolutely. And what else happened? There was a couple of wee things.
So there was actually quite a nice story behind why there was a charity run.
Yep.
So do you want to explain that, or shall I?
You explain that.
So last year, I think it was back in 2023, there was 2 family members who got actually killed. I think it was in a car accident. So the organizers of the event decided what they're going to do is they're going to do the charity run. So all the cars went down, raised money for the 2 families of the 2 victims who obviously had died. And there's quite a nice thing behind it. So everyone who went down ended up raising some money for the families. And I think that's quite a good cause to go with. So we'll leave a link to the charity below if we can.
Yep.
But there'll definitely be more information in the description. So have a look at that.
Absolutely. So what car have we got next?
Black.
Merc.
Supercharged.
Convertible.
Hard top.
Yes.
Rear wheel drive.
2.3.
Supercharged. No. And on that note,
we'll see you in the next one. Good night.
Goodbye.